The notoriously clogged roads of Lagos are eerily quiet. Its usually bustling markets empty. The shutdown of Nigeria's financial hub and the capital Abuja to contain the spread of COVID-19 means serious hardship for tens of millions of people.
The 2 weeks is too long, and there is not enough funds on ground for the people to take good care of themselves.
They invite us to sit at home. They have to provide what we are going to need for us. We don't have anything to eat at our house.
The government has pledged to provide the poorest households with food parcels and cash payouts, placing further pressure on an already struggling economy. The World Bank estimates that almost half Nigeria's 200 million people live on less than $2 a day. The latest available official data shows unemployment stood at 23% at the end of 2018. Analysts believe that figure has shot past 40% in the past 2 years. Nigeria is Africa's largest economy. It's almost entirely reliant on oil, which accounts for nearly 60% of government revenues. However, the pandemic and a price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia has sent crude prices to their lowest in 18 years. That's forced the government to devalue its currency and cut this year's record $35 billion budget. To help affected businesses, the central bank has announced credit relief of nearly $140 million. But that's of little comfort to the majority of Nigerians who work in the informal sector and depend on daily earnings to survive.
We receive no benefits from the government. We're being deceived. We pay daily taxes and we're going to be expected to pay up again soon. How can we when the shops are closed?
In a country renowned for its entrepreneurial spirit and robust startup sector, people are trapped in a lockdown that may save their lives, but threatens their livelihood. Sibel Karkus, TRT World.
Well, for more on the story, let's speak to Rafiq Raji in Lagos. He's the Chief Economist at Macro Africa Intel. Welcome to Money Talks, Rafiq. Now, this lockdown really took many Nigerians by surprise, didn't it? I'm wondering if you could explain to us the impact that this shutdown will have on Africa's largest economy.
Well, more than 50% of the economy, which is in services, will be shut down. The hope is that in due course, agriculture and industries will get back online when perhaps after 2 weeks, the restrictions are lifted. Now, this is important because, as you are well aware, imports will be much more difficult to bring about as a result of shutdowns elsewhere and the difficulty of transporting goods between countries. So if you're going to be able to sustain the economy, provide food and basic services, you need the agriculture and industrial sectors to be back online as soon as possible. But in the meantime, for the 2 weeks and perhaps 1 month, you want to ensure that whatever restrictions you announce are time-bound. That is, people should not think that 2 weeks will become 4 weeks or 2 months. That way, they're able to bear the difficulties, and the government is then able to do the things it needs to do to curb the epidemic. But in that intervening period, you need to provide stimulus and palliatives, which I reckon will be to the tune of, say, $6 billion if you are going to give maybe the minimum wage to at least 40 million bank account holders, and the same amount to those in the informal sector. So $3 billion each, $6 billion per month. And this is not necessarily out of the reach of the government. It could use earnings from oil to provide these stimulus and palliative measures. And in doing so, it may need to forego some of the other planned programs for the year. It's not like contractors are going to be able to get back to sites for most of the year, since in their own countries, they are already shut down. Imports are going to be difficult to bring about. So you might as well put that money into the pockets of your citizens, yes, to be able to enable them manage the difficulties that you are putting them through.
Okay, now can I ask you quickly about the informal sector? Because as we know, the lockdown will cause the millions of workers who work informally a lot of financial pain, as you hinted there. How confident are you that the government will provide for them?
It will be able to do so for some of them, but not all of them. Some of them have bank accounts, even though they are not, their businesses are not formalized. They have individual bank accounts. So if you do cash transfers, they will be affected. Now, the government also has social programs that it was running before the crisis. So you could also put money into those, and the government is already doing so. But that would be a drop in the bucket if you don't try and target the many more who are not yet under those programs. But the best thing you could do is to ensure that you do not go beyond the 2 weeks you've announced, and that people get back to work as soon as possible. And that the period you told them to stay at home will enable them understand the importance of a need to change their social behavior, so that when they get back to work, they will engage in social distancing, they will engage in proper hygiene at work, at home, and so on.
Okay, Rafiq Raji in Lagos. We'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much for sharing with us your thoughts.